Studying a subject that you don't like quite simply just sucks, and so you end up not studying that subject, and so you get worse and worse at it. And naturally, if you're bad at something, what happens? You dislike it even more. But the thing is, maybe you don't have the opportunity to drop that subject, so you're stuck with it. It's frustrating, but it's the truth. With everything you don't like, whether it's that annoying classmate, a task, or a subject in this case, there's two paths you can take. Either you can bear a grudge with it forever, or you can try and better the relationship between the two of you. And so this is how to study subjects which you don't like, why this might be happening, and tactics you can implement right now to dominate this subject. The third tip is something that I've never heard before, so make sure to stick around for that. Number 1. Red, yellow, green. It's proven that if you're good at a subject, you're more likely to enjoy it, whereas if you're bad at it, you'll like it less. And so the reason that you probably don't like the subject is because either A, you're bad at it, for example, you failed a test one time, and so you just always have this sour taste in your mouth, or you just find it boring and you don't like the teacher. If you genuinely don't find interest in that subject, that sucks. But for the majority of you guys, the reason you're watching this video and you want to learn how to study subjects you don't like is because, quite frankly, you're bad at it. So what you have to do is use this red, amber, green tactic, the traffic light system. This is a widely known strategy for revising things, but it works especially well here because you don't like studying, so undoubtedly your knowledge is going to have gaps in them. For example, for me, I find history boring. I'm not as strong as it than other subjects, so what I'll do is I'll write out subtopics for each chapter I'm studying and draw a color of either red for I don't know it, amber I'm shaky, or green I'm confident to signal how well I know this chapter. Go through until you have a neat little traffic light color system for each chapter, like this. And don't be disheartened if all of your lights are either amber or red, because that just means you'll have to go through systematically and review it all. The hardest part of studying a subject that I don't like is knowing where to start. So by writing down what areas you need to work on and having this visual cue of green, red and yellow, you can visually see gaps and you're much more inclined and motivated to fill these in and make a solid foundation. Also, as I always say, having a plan and planning before you do something allows it so that you know what you have to do. And another step you can do next to the colors that you have made is to write an action of what you can do to directly improve this. For example, you're shaky about the Cold War, so what you can do is then write next to it, I want to read pages 4 to 7 and also do a practice question on it. Number 2, make it fun. Okay, so you find the subject boring, or the way that you're doing it right now doesn't work. But we're so lucky to have technology and the internet at our disposal. Back in the day, you just had to copy down facts and memorize it, but now that's just not the case. You can learn in so many different ways, so make learning fun and easy. For me, I hated doing French for the longest time, but because it's a language, and this is the same for a lot of subjects, you have to just keep doing it consistently. And so, instead of trying to force myself to read French textbook chapters, I started doing Duolingo, you know, that little bird owl app that forces you to do it 10 minutes every day. It sounds silly, but it genuinely works. Just by creating a fun habit and doing in different ways of doing it, it will keep yourself more willing and motivated to do it. For example, try using AI to ask questions as you go to keep yourself interested in the topic, which I talk about in this video. Or maybe use websites to do tailored practice questions with answers, or watch YouTube videos to try and learn a subtopic. And a sub point of this is that if you've already tried making something fun before, but it just doesn't work, the other option is to just make it part of your routine, so that you don't have a choice whether to do it or not. For example, for me, I recently promised myself that I'll review a chapter every day for science because I don't like it, and whatever I tried, it just wasn't fun for me. So by just making it a part of your routine, you're making it so that you won't skip it. You're forcing it into your routine. Making this a consistent habit and doing marginal gains, check out this video, makes it so that I just have to do it no matter what. It's like making going to the gym a habit. At first it'll be hard, but once it becomes consistent, it's just a part of your everyday life, something you don't have to think about twice for. And number 3 is minimalism. What is the minimum amount of effort you need to put in to get good results? I talk about this a lot actually, the Pareto principle. If you remember, this is the 80-20 rule, the 20% of things you can do to get maximum results. To get the best results in life, you should focus on the little things, and we can use this to study study subjects we don't like. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying to always do the bare minimum, but how can we do less so that you don't feel distracted and bored but still gain knowledge? For example, you have a biology test. You want to go through 5 chapters, watch 7 videos, do 50 topic questions and 3 past papers, and also make a cute little poster. But the thing is, you'll get bored straight away. As you start reading just the first chapter, you'll get bored and you won't end up doing the other 99 things you promised yourself that you would do. Because sometimes all you need to do is watch one video and do 1 past paper, because less is more. And instead of overwhelming yourself and making it so that you aren't taking anything in, and we have to remember that this is a subject that we don't want to do in the first place, you'll make it so that you're actually engaged in the task. However, only do these with things that you don't want to do, because if you apply this to everything, the bare minimum, sure, you'll get good grades, but you won't get great grades. It just can't be achieved with the same level of bare minimum work. For example, a long-term purchase that you'll make, such as a car, would you like it for it to have been made by someone who ticked all the boxes and made it so it's good, or the person who just went that extra step, polished the car, made sure everything was perfect, had that heated steering wheel? Of course, the second one. So in exam season, plan in advance and study thoroughly, but when you don't feel like it or not in the mood, just overwhelming yourself is the last thing you want to do. So now suddenly the subject that you hated doesn't seem so daunting. It's like that final boss in the video game took its armor off. I believe in you and you've got this. Remember to use this traffic light system, make it fun, and also practice minimalism to ensure that you absolutely annihilate the subject instead of it controlling you.